I don't know. I feel like we just had a breakup conversation.
I'm glad we've gone this long so we can be friends in the party.
Hello everyone, welcome here to Happily Ever Reality. I am so glad you're here. Today we're going to be talking about an episode of Sister Wives that I actually did not talk about from the last season. So it's not a 15-minute recap today, no spinning wheel to pick the episode. This is one I actually just didn't recap, and it was at the end of season 18. So after the tell-alls, we got a special on Christine when she got married. Then we had 2 talk back episodes, and I think there were like 2 other episodes called like Looking Back or something. There were like a few extra special shows we could watch. I never talked about part 2 of the talk back series, and I really liked them. If you missed it, you should go back and watch them. I believe you can find them on Hulu and Discovery Plus, but basically it was like pillow talk with the Sister Wives adults. And of course, it was all separate. I should add that as well, except Cody and Robin, they were together. But basically, they watched the last episode of season 18, and then they got to talk about it. So if you haven't watched it, you should. I'm going to talk about it here. That's what I'm doing today. But there's no way I can talk about it all or show all the clips I would love to show for copyright reasons. But enough of me talking about that stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about the episode. The first thing I noticed when the show starts is that Robin Brown does not look happy to be doing this. I think that's something I mentioned when I recapped the part 1. She just doesn't look like she's happy to be there and happy to be revisiting the past. Now, as they start watching the show, the first thing that's brought up is Meri and Cody's relationship. This is interesting for me because I was wrong about something, and you guys let me know. If you were around when I was recapping season 17 and throughout season 18, there was a point where I was giving Meri a little bit of a hard time. I was like, come on, you have to know, Meri, that Cody doesn't want to be with you. He has made it so clear. What are you doing? And I gave her a really hard time. And there were comments on my videos that basically was saying, like, how do you know that she knows this? Maybe she doesn't know at all. And that is what Meri says. She says she didn't know everything that Cody was saying until it was actually put out on the show.
About a month ago, I saw where he actually said, no, I don't consider myself married to Meri anymore.
So that was her, and she was saying she didn't know he was saying this stuff. The private conversations didn't match up what was being said on the show. So she was hearing one thing, but he was saying something else publicly. So you guys were right. I was wrong. I thought she was just really in denial. Like, I was like, Cody is telling you he doesn't want to be with you, and you're completely ignoring it. But it seems that Meri didn't really know everything that Cody was saying until these shows came out. Now, there's another part of this that's kind of interesting, and that is that Christine and Janelle agree with what Meri's saying, but specifically when Janelle is talking during this part, you can see everyone's reactions, and Cody doesn't seem to agree with what Janelle is saying.
And she feels like she gave a commitment. But I wonder at what point if it's not very healthy for her.
So
when Janelle is finishing that clip up, you can see Cody lifts his head off the back of the couch, narrows his eyebrows a little. It's obvious he doesn't agree with what Janelle is saying, but that's sort of interesting to me because so many times he said that Meri needed to go. He should have said it's not good for her. And I seem to vaguely remember a few times where he said, I don't understand why she stays. So why would it be healthy for her to stick around and just hope he decides to rekindle things with her? I don't know why that would be the moment he disagreed with one of the wives. After this, we see a part of the last episode where Christine and Janelle are traveling together. They were in Idaho during that episode. Christine is talking about the trip and her relationship with Janelle. And once again, the little square in the corner that shows Cody, it shows him giving a reaction. He actually looks at his watch to, I guess, check the time. I guess maybe he could have gotten a message if it's a smartwatch. But there's definitely this look on his face as if he's checking his watch because he's already tired of doing this. Like, he does not want to hear Christine talking. Maybe it was deliberate, maybe it wasn't, but it feels deliberate to me because he doesn't look happy the whole time this is going on. I'm going to put the clip in up here so you can look at it. It's only a few seconds, but he definitely glances at his watch when Christine is talking. There's also a part of this where Meri talks about how nice it is that Christine and Janelle get along now because they didn't always get along, and they were able to overcome those feelings of jealousy and distrust that they used to have. Cody, on the other hand, says they are just uniting now because they have something in common, and that is they both don't like him and Robin. So, that's something Cody's brought up in the past too. Like, what is unifying them is how they're so unhappy with their marriage to him and that they wouldn't get along otherwise. But you know what? That's how life works. Sometimes one issue can bring people together. During this part of the show, the idea of having a reunion for the kids is brought up. So this is something that was brought up in the final episode of season 18. And we hear Christine say that all the kids want this, and Janelle says all the kids want it as well, and some of the kids are missing Robin's kids. So they're very interested in doing it. And as this is playing, we get to see the reactions from everyone, all the wives and Cody and Robin, who's also a wife. I don't know why I said it like that. We get to see the adults' reactions. And it's interesting because we see Meri kind of nodding and grinning, like, yes, the kids would really love this. And, Janelle is grinning, talking about it. Everyone seems happy. We hear Christine talking in the episode. She wants to do this. But then when you look over at Robin and Cody, once again, they're unhappy. This is one of those times I think Robin and Cody could have said something that might have redeemed them a little bit. If they just would have said, hey, we really want to do this for the kids too, even if we're not interested in seeing the other adults, or this is something that's important to us, we want to make sure that the kids are together in the future. But instead, they give us absolutely nothing except their frowny faces. After this, we get to see them watch that part of the last episode where Meri has to do math for Cody.
It's 2-acre lots.
Yeah.
2-acre lots.
Yeah, so-
and then 4-acre lots.
Right. So if you're getting 2 and 2, that's 4.
So this is where we see Cody do that thing that's very unfair to Meri, and he's basically giving her 2 acres out on the property when everyone else is going to get 4, and there's this additional 5th property there that's supposed to be his or the family's property. So in the end, Cody and Robin have quite a lot of the property to themselves, and Meri is only getting 2 acres, and then Janelle is getting her 4. So it's just not fair to Meri, and she realizes he's just choosing this on his own. It doesn't matter if it's equal, because essentially Robin is getting a 4-acre lot, Janelle is getting a 4-acre lot, Cody is getting 2 acres, this family lot's another 2 acres, and then Meri is getting 2 acres. Meri should have the same as Robin and Janelle. So this is the moment I think Meri realizes she is never going to win in this relationship with Cody. Now, I do want to put something in here in Robin's defense. I don't do that very often because usually I don't have anything to add for her. But when this is airing and they're watching it, she says something where she sort of sticks up for Meri and what Meri wants.
Well, I just felt like everybody, because we all worked together and, made the same amount, that everybody should kind of get their equal portion.
That's fair, but there won't be a lot now where all the kids have access.
Based on that, I think Robin can see how unfair this is to Meri, but of course Cody responds by saying there needs to be this family lot, and then he wants his own lot because the wives won't share all the stuff between all of the kids, and he's the only person that all the kids are connected to. So he has his own reason, and then of course she agrees with him, but I think Robin can see that this is unfair. After this, we see more of that picnic table conversation with Meri, Robin, and Cody. And I cannot do this part of the show justice. I can't show every clip or show every comment they make. You definitely need to go watch this talk back if you haven't. But I do want to highlight something special, and that is Jen, Meri's friend. She shows up to watch the ending of the last episode with Meri, and she has a way of saying the stuff that we are probably all saying at home, but doing it in a way that Meri seems very comfortable with. So I want to highlight some of those moments where Jen was really, making it clear that some of the stuff that Robin was doing wasn't okay. So after Meri drops the bomb that she's moving back to Utah, Robin questions, is this temporary? And Meri says, I don't know. She leaves that kind of open. She doesn't know what the future is as far as where she's going to live. Robin, of course, gets emotional, and listen to what Jen says after that. They see that clip.
So I don't understand why it matters. Like, why is she so upset?
Jen asked this. Of course, Meri has a response, and basically it's what we always hear from Meri. Like, Robin really wanted the sister wives relationship, and now if I'm leaving, the only person left is Janelle, and her and Janelle aren't close. So Meri makes up an excuse, but Jen is just not done there. She isn't going to let it end with Meri saying that.
Yeah, but you've been trying to build the relationship, and every time you try, like, you're constantly disappointed.
I know.
Because every time I talk to you, you're like, well, we were gonna do this, and then we didn't.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, why she's upset then.
So yeah, I think most of the audience feels the same way. Like, this is really selfish of Robin. And someone's getting to ask Meri directly. I'm glad she has a friend like Jen. So in the next clip, we see Robin starting to cry because Cody has basically looked at Meri and said, we can't have the relationship that you want to have, but we can have something different. I don't know why he says this kind of stuff. Basically, it's like he's just not getting it. Why would she stick around? But anyway, Robin starts to cry. Of course, watch Jen, because I think she did exactly what I did when I watched the episode.
Move away, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, can you pause it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing because she's crying. That's not why I'm laughing.
Oh, I think that's why she's laughing. I'm pretty sure I laughed when I saw that the first time, and they show Christine's reaction as well, and she's like, oh God. Of course, Robin manages to cry hard enough that it gives her all the attention, but I just like that Jen laughed about it, and actually Meri laughed about it as well.
I'm struggling with this. I'm sorry.
I just like that they are reacting the way that we do, because you sort of expect that they're going to go in and explain away some of the more ridiculous moments, but instead they're like nodding in agreement with the audience, right? Like, how many times do we think Cody sounds stupid and says stuff that doesn't make sense? And they're like, yeah, that's how he talks. It's nice to see they're laughing about this. Jen is laughing. She has Meri laughing about it too. So as they're showing this and you watch Janelle, Christine, Meri, and Jen, their reactions are comical. They're really funny. Janelle is rolling her eyes. Christine is just shaking her head like, what the heck? And Meri and Jen are laughing. Like, this seems funny. Her reaction, she shouldn't have been there. Robin shouldn't have been there. That should have been a conversation between the two of them. And basically that is what Christine says.
I just don't know how I'm supposed to sit here and watch them decide.
Why doesn't she just get in the car and leave then?
That's a question we all had. And then we see Robin walk back. And I don't know how I missed this, but there's something really funny about watching her walk back with the big glasses on and holding the water bottle. And if you don't remember this episode, you should go back and watch it again, even if you don't watch the talk back. The last episode with Meri and Cody, sitting out there and talking is just insane. He refers to their relationship and his involvement as an act, as a performance. He tells her he, can't do it anymore. He just says all the wrong things, which is classic Cody. I don't expect anything different. But they continue to react by a mixture of having some serious conversations, shaking their head, and then sometimes laughing. Because what else can you do? There is a part of this that stands out to me when Meri and Jen are talking, and she says that this conversation had already taken place in private. They had already decided that the relationship was over, but she wanted it documented. And I'm like, good for you. Because, again, I mentioned this earlier, for people like me, I was like, she has to know this is going on. She has to know Cody's saying he's not interested in her. And those of you who said I was wrong, no, you were right. She didn't know. So I think making sure the private conversations are matching the public filmed moments is important for her. And so I think she's wised up to that. So we see a clip of Robin. She's came back to the picnic table, and then they show her during a confessional. And she says she left the picnic table because if she stayed, she would have tried to get them to postpone the conversation. And when I was recapping this season 18 last year, I talked about how selfish I thought Robin was. A lot of the comments agreed. And then Jen just says it to Meri's face for the talk back.
Yeah, don't make a decision today, because for the last 7 years, things have been peachy keen. I'm sorry, it's selfish.
It's not fair to not let this come to an end.
I really wish Robin would watch this episode on her own without Cody around, without anyone with her, and just like sit back and sort of take it all in so she can see how the rest of the world views her actions and the things she says. And it might help her. I sometimes think when celebrities or even like reality stars read the comments, they're like, oh, they're strangers that don't know. But in this case, it's people that know the situation and they're involved. She might learn something about the way other people feel from watching this. So all of the adults in the Brown family continue to watch that last episode, and really the picnic table conversation monopolized a lot of that episode, as it should, because we were all waiting for it, and Cody said so much dumb stuff and rude stuff. It was unbelievable. I bet when they were filming it, they were like, holy moly. Like, this is a treasure trove of stuff for us to put in there of Cody saying that's going to get the audience worked up, because he really just keeps going and going. So that episode gave us a lot. I do want to focus on the part where Cody talks to Robin about the commitment they had made to each other.
Our sacred covenant was, if I'm ever not in love with you, I won't just sit there and be in a pathetic place with you.
So I think most of us would agree that that is a really unusual promise to make to someone at the beginning of the relationship. It has to have some backstory to it. And that is pretty much what Jen tells Meri. And this surprises Meri. It seems like Meri had never considered how the conversation would have even gotten started between Robin and Cody.
Was he already complaining to her pre-marriage about his relationship with like you or Janelle or Christine?
Meri's response lets us know that she was clearly shocked by the idea of that. She hadn't considered that that might have been what led to the conversation, that he was already unhappy and sharing that with Robin from day one. I don't know if that's what happened. We'll never know. But I do think there had to be something that got them to have that conversation. And maybe it wasn't Cody's relationships with his wives. Maybe it was really Robin talking about her ex-husband. I mean, we focus on Cody and the wives, but there is another ex involved. So they continue on with that conversation that's out there. We get to see everyone reacting. Nothing I'm going to add in here. You definitely should go back and watch it if you haven't already. And if you have and just want to see it again before the new season, this was a good one, so I recommend doing it. I do want to point something out, though. At the end of this, we get to watch Robin crying while she's watching Robin crying. It's like double the Robin crying. Just thought you guys might want to know that if you missed it. But that is it for this episode. There's just so much that was in the last episode of season 18. I'm thinking of doing another video about that picnic conversation because there is a lot more to add from that. So I might do that. I don't know. If you guys have any thoughts, or if you had a part of this that I left out, go ahead and let me know about it down in the comments. If you haven't already, I hope you'll click like and subscribe and come back to Happily Ever Reality.